So a farmer comes into your office and says, what is the Farm Bill? Maybe they're a new producer. They don't know much about agricultural policy. Maybe they're a student who's interested in becoming a producer in the future. One of the first things they might think about related to agricultural policy is what we commonly call the Farm Bill. The Farm Bill dates back to 1933 and the Dust Bowl, whenever prices were low, times were hard, and producers needed some kind of price intervention to help them survive those really hard times. Since then, the Farm Bill has evolved. Now it's passed every 5 years, and it's what we call an Omnibus Bill, which simply means that there's several bills that are gathered together in a single legislative package that is passed and signed into law. Now, the Farm Bill contains both authorization for programs and appropriations or funds to spend on programs. That means whenever a Farm Bill expires, we can have some programs that can't be continued without it. Every 5 years, this process comes up, legislators vote on a new Farm Bill. Well, how does that happen? It starts off in the Ag committees, in the House and the Senate. They each pass a version of the Farm Bill that then goes to a full floor vote. If both pass, then they need to reconcile the differences in those two bills. They go to a special committee called a conference committee that goes through each difference in each title and comes up with a compromise or a solution. That final bill with the compromises in it goes back for a full floor vote in the House and the Senate before going to the President to be signed into law. Now, our most recent Farm Bill, as of the filming of this video, is the 2018 Agricultural Improvement Act, signed into law December 20th, 2018. This is a bill that contains risk management for producers, crop insurance, conservation practices, but it also contains nutrition programs to help those who are faced with food insecurity. This is a not commonly known fact about the Farm Bill. It isn't just about farms. It contains information and programs to help many people. It also contains market development funds, rural development in helping rural communities improve their infrastructure. It includes things like horticulture, specialty crops. It includes support for farmers markets and healthy foods. The Farm Bill really is a piece of legislation that goes from the farm gate all the way to the plate. And in this video series, we're going to break down that Farm Bill, and we're going to talk about some of the different pieces that you might encounter. But for now, let's take the broad overview. The Farm Bill contains a very large amount of legislation, so it's $879 billion. That is broken apart across 12 titles with multiple programs inside each title. But the majority of the money is in what we call the Big Four, 4 titles, including nutrition, which can contain between 75% and 80% of the overall funds, includes the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, formerly known as food stamps. Other large portions of that spending are in the commodities title, which contains safety net programs for farmers and ranchers whenever market prices go down or there are events that cause yields to decrease. Mainly, we're talking about the agricultural risk coverage and price loss coverage programs for crops, and then also the dairy coverage program for dairy. Another major area are conservation programs. These are going to include ways that producers can fund improvements in their soil quality and conserve their natural resources. You may have heard of the Conservation Reserve Program that sets aside farmland to allow soil to recover. You may have also heard about the Working Lands programs, the Conservation Stewardship Program, and the Environmental Quality Incentives programs. There are also programs to improve watersheds and protect wetlands in this title. Finally, there's the crop insurance title. This is an important title for farmers in order to protect them from downturns. The crop insurance title is one of the most popular titles in the Farm Bill for our agricultural producers. The remaining 1% of funds is in the remaining titles of the Farm Bill, and it covers many topics. The Farm Bill is a major piece of legislation. For more information on any of these programs, please contact the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Your county office can give you more information on any of these programs.